Welcome to the source.
I hear a kid's TV in my headphones.
The source. Source. Hey, get the source.
Now I hear my own intro music. Oh, there we go. All right, what's up, everybody? Happy Friday. The weekend is here. And remember how we were having a night? Well, I should say speak in the first person. Remember how I was having a nice little week? Got a couple college football picks in there. Baseball picks were doing well. Well, actually, you know what? Baseball picks still doing well. Went 2-0 yesterday, but on the football front, what a shitty Thursday. UTEP got shafted. They were the better team start to finish. I'm joking. No, they weren't. They got their fucking asses kicked. Middle Tennessee's an embarrassment. The Seahawks game, whatever. I mean, the final score makes it look like, oh, my God, we were way off. But Geno Smith had the ball 23-17. If he scores a touchdown, maybe Seahawks and under both might hit. The game got crazy there at the end, but whatever. Not a good Thursday night. But we're moving on to Friday. And as far as football games tonight, you would think we got a Big 10 game, right? We got a Big 12 game, a cool little Mountain West matchup. Well, Utah State's not very cool, but as far as the quality of football, we have better teams tonight. But in terms of betting, I can't. We'll bring Andy and Scoop on and talk through some stuff. Maybe we can find something that I want to bet, but I can't find anything I like in these games. But first up, we have to talk about Game 5. A lot of chatter in the comments about Toast.
A lot of typing. A lot
of typing going on about Toast Padres pick. People didn't like it. So
shocker.
Obviously, for those of you that watched last night, you guys know that Toast is on the Padres. He also has Tatis over 1.5 total bases. Has anything changed in your thought process?
Absolutely not. We can just go over it really quickly. I'm not going to take up everybody's time today, but I just don't understand the Dodgers side of it. I'm not even. You can take the Padres homer out of me. This is going to be the 4th time the Dodgers have seen Yoshinobu Yamamoto, and they've absolutely slaughtered him every single time they've seen him. So it's just really hard for me to believe that the Padres are walking into this game without a starting pitching advantage, with Darvish on the mound, who the last 2 times that he's seen this Dodgers team, both this year, he's went 14 total innings, gave up 5 hits and a run. So this idea that Pooh Darvish is going to come out and be all over the place and he's going to get hit hard, I just don't personally see it. You have a half of a man in Freddie Freeman out there right now. I don't even know what you can really expect from him, but yet he's going to be in the lineup today. Again, I think that the Padres are a deeper team. I think that if you want to call the bullpens a wash because of how the Dodgers have performed, okay. I still think that the Padres have a deeper lineup and they have the better starting pitcher on the mound personally. So this is a very, very big game for the career of Yu Darvish. If he were to come out here and go 6 or 7 innings of 2-run baseball, that would be really big for his legacy, especially against the Dodgers in LA. So there's a lot of side talk going on between both teams and who's going to give out their lineups and who's going to start and who wasn't going to start and all that stuff. Again, it's fun. It's Dodgers versus LA, or it's Dodgers versus Padres. It's going to happen. But I think this pure price alone, it's the Padres is a play. I just have a hard. I would say that if the Padres were minus 145 as well, there's no way in hell I would lay minus 145 with the Padres today either. So you can call it a play on the number if you want. You can call it a homer play if you want. I don't really care, but I feel very strongly that the Padres win this baseball game.
So as of right now, I am sticking to, well, not as of right now. That's indicating that I'm going to change. Not change my mind. I'm on the Padres, and I don't see any reason to switch the strategy up. I believe I'm 3-1 in this series. I've been just taking whatever team is plus money. No, I actually took the Padres that one game where they were like minus 155 because it was like, I forget why, but it was like the Padres have to win. I forget why I took the Padres as the favorite that game, but this series feels so coin flippy, so why not just take the side with plus money? That's what I've been doing, and I've been pretty on point in this series. I don't know if you think the Dodgers are going to win the game, sure, I get it, but I mean we're talking about minus 145. which means do you think if they played this game 10 times, the Dodgers are going to win more than 6? I don't know what evidence you have of that. So at plus 120, you'd have to say the value's on the Padres just because the series feels so coin flippy. Every single aspect of this baseball game feels coin flippy. Ask me who has the better lineup. I don't even know. I mean, the Padres have been better over the last couple months. The Dodgers probably have more talent, I guess, but I don't know. The Padres have clearly been hitting better. If we're just talking about the second half of the season, it's not even a discussion. Starting pitching, I mean, I guess I'd take Darvish, right, over Yamamoto. Bullpen, the Padres bullpen has been better recently and probably is better, but the Dodgers bullpen is also... Every single aspect of this game feels like a coin flip, so why not take the plus 120? And I know that sounds like some weird logic, but it's been working. I know my college football picks haven't been good, but actually, if you scroll back in these live shows, I've been pretty good in the MLB playoffs. So yeah, plus 120. I'll rock with the Padres. It seems like everyone switched teams, too. I see Apollo in the comments on the Padres. Shipley has switched over to the Padres. Everyone's switching over to San Diego. Definitely.
It's a Colt. I make great Kool-Aid. They love it.
Yeah, you started a Padres Colt. But yeah, I'll be on the Padres. I haven't bet it yet, but I'll throw some money on it before the game starts to make it fun. Yep. Let's go. I also my prop. What was his name again, Toast, that I like? The guy I like?
Kyle Higashioka.
He's not in the... No, there he is. Higashioka.
He's playing.
Higashioka has a 26% barrel rate against Yamamoto's pitch mix. 26% is nuts. Now, the reason he has such a high price, he's the 9-hole hitter. He might only see Yamamoto once. Like, literally might only see him once. So, that's why you can get Higashioka over 1.5 total bases at plus 250. I believe the home runs at plus 900 too.
Yeah, it was 900 last night.
Yeah, that's what it was last night. That's my guy. I'm rolling with Higashioka. That's who I think is gonna make some noise. Give me a double in the gap for that total bases. I'm in. So Padres up.
If anything, if you don't want to tail my Padres bet, you can just tail the Fernando Tatis bet because
or the Higashioka.
Yeah. Maybe do a little parlay, both of them, if you want. Crazy.
Both guys the homer.
Yeah.
Two of the best power hitters in the game. Higashioka and Tatis.
Higashioka's been killing it so far. So.
All right, let's talk these shitty college football games out with our truth.
Have a good night.
Later. These 3 college football games, man, I feel like I have decent handicaps on a couple of them, but then I also can poke massive holes in those handicaps, making them not so great.
Higashioka's going to clean up because he's the next Yankee. So
Higashioka's the next Yankee?
He was a Yankee.
Oh, an ex-Yankee. Yeah. All right. First up, Northwestern, Maryland. If you guys watched the video from last night, I said Maryland or pass. I honestly think on paper that this game should be 9.5 under 10. So at 11, you would think Northwestern. The reason that my stance on this game is Maryland or pass is because I really don't trust Northwestern to not fuck it up, if I'm being honest. Lausch looked pretty decent against Indiana in the last game. He definitely made some plays. It was like probably Northwestern's best or most impressive offensive performance of the year. So maybe like I could see how you're like, hey, he's getting comfortable in the offense. Maybe Northwestern's able to move the ball down the stretch here in this season. I don't think you'd be wrong in saying that. I don't think that's an incorrect take. But the thing is, when the game was on the line, a terrible 3-and-out where he missed an open receiver by 5 feet. And I even if this game could be 2017 Maryland in the fourth quarter, and I still wouldn't feel comfortable with a plus 11 ticket. And yeah, that's a little bit of recency bias talking, but I'm not just referring to the Indiana game, by the way. I had Northwestern in the Duke game, and if you watch that game, they controlled 90% of that football game. In the fourth quarter, they had the lead. Duke's offense couldn't do anything, and then all of a sudden, Northwestern's pass rush stopped getting home. Malik Murphy all of a sudden looked like Texas Longhorn Malik Murphy. Drove down the field twice, forced overtime, won in overtime. And it was like another football game with Northwestern where I felt it's two big bets I had on Northwestern this year where I felt they were well in position to cover wire to wire until the end of the game. They somehow not covered by just fumbling the bag at the end of the football game, and I can't unsee it. So even though personally I think this game, the number should be around 9.5, 10. So at 11, how do you not play Northwestern? I don't trust this team not to do something awful. So I guess Maryland or pass. I haven't bet the game. Like I said, I was having trouble with these three. So I'm all ears. If you guys have suggestions, I'm down to place a bet. But as far as how I'm seeing it, it feels like I'm just guessing, to be honest.
Yeah, I'll go. I bet this one already. I took a deeper look at this morning because I was just like you. I really didn't know because I thought it was really more of a toss-up. But the more people have been betting Maryland, I kind of feel more comfortable with Northwestern. I bet Northwestern, and it's relatively thin, but I looked a lot on the O-line here. The O-lines that Northwestern has faced so far, I got to give them credit. They've faced literally 2 good ones and 2 terrible ones. And they faced Duke and Indiana. They're both top 30 offensive lines, and they couldn't get any pass rush on either of them. Like you said, in the Duke game, they just kind of
they were for like the first half.
Early in the game, early in the game, they were doing a good job, and then it just kind of lost it. And then against Indiana, they almost never did. They couldn't get any pressure on Rourke. Although, I mean, Indiana, I think they have a top 10 O-line in the country. The other 2
Let's
games,
relax with that shit. Top 10.
Well, I'm just saying they're a really good
O-line.
O-line.
Top 10. All right, go ahead.
But yeah, and then the other games, Washington, really bad O-line. They had 3 sacks. They were getting pressure on Will Rogers. Now, Will Rogers still, they won the game 24-5, but they held a pretty good Washington offense at 24. That's not terrible. Better offense than Maryland. And then in the Miami of Ohio game, 4 sacks. That was an opener. That's an awful O-line for Miami of Ohio. The reason I'm saying this, Maryland's O-line's awful. They're a turnstile. They can't stop anything in terms of pass protection. This is a freshman. I almost called him a rookie. Pretty much a freshman quarterback. He was there last year, but he didn't play. So he's a redshirt freshman quarterback. I know it's a home game, but a redshirt freshman quarterback with a terrible O-line laying 11. I don't care who you're playing. And you're playing a good defense. Like, I don't care who you're playing, but the fact that he's playing a really good defense like Northwestern, who can get a pass rush against bad O-lines, I feel comfortable. I know, I got to be honest. I know you've been saying it too because we've all been struggling here. Disclaimer: I can't hit a thing. I mean, if you were pitching me a beach ball right now, I would swing and miss. I mean, Middle Tennessee last night was ridiculous. I mean, I had 21, they had 14 in the first 8 minutes of the game. They scored 7 more the rest of the game.
Oh, that was great.
Yeah.
They scored 14 immediately.
Yeah, it's been going bad. But in terms of this one, I think I see that one better. I think they can get a pass rush, be a problem for Billy Edwards, and just keep it close. I'm not saying Northwestern's going to win because I'll be honest. Northwestern has Jake Lausch at quarterback. He's had 1 good game. It was his last game, and this Maryland secondary is really bad. So, lines up for Lausch to have a good game, but I'm really scared of a bad quarterback who just had his best game. Usually they fall flat on their face, so we'll see. But in terms of this one, I like the dog.
Yeah, but what you said about Northwestern's pass rush, here's the problem with that. They've gotten absolutely cooked through the air back-to-back games. So, how many times are we going to, and this is coming from somebody that bet Northwestern twice with that same pitch. The Northwestern pass rush. Bro, they've gotten cooked through the air in their last 2 games. So I will
say, Billy Edwards has struggled against the better competition, which was part of the video yesterday.
Do you consider Northwestern the better competition?
Well, I mean, in terms of defense, yes. I mean, their defense is better than, the teams he's cooked against is UConn and Villanova. Cool, bro. What does that do?
Someone in the comments says the NCAA football 25 on PlayStation simulation says Northwestern wins this game. Scoop?
Yeah, this last week was my first winning week of college football. Now with Andy saying that, I was 2-1 yesterday. Had a good day. Yeah, I like Northwestern to cover. I bet this game. I thought I was going to get that Northwestern cover in last game. They were 27-24 in the fourth, and they couldn't cover 13.5. That sucks. Really though, Northwestern with 336 yards and no turnovers was a really solid day for that offense. I mean, I think they're going to do well again. Again, Northwestern, bad offense. I get it. But listen, Lausch had a great game against a solid Indiana squad, 243 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. And they didn't even run the ball, really. So they kind of did it through a one-dimensional offense. Maryland has a solid defensive front for the most part, but I think Indiana's offense is way better than Maryland's. Not by a lot because Billy Edwards has been awesome. But both of these teams are coming off their Indiana losses, almost identical scores too. Indiana scored 40 on both of them, and Indiana scored 40 points in 5 consecutive games. By the way, they're pretty ridiculous, but no one's stopping Indiana's offense right now. But Maryland's defense is worse than I expected, and they're not great against the pass. They're 103rd in tackling. I think Losh is going to find some holes in that secondary. And really, that bye from last week seemed to help Northwestern. I think Losh only gets better from here on out. Cam Porter needs to find his game, I think, here so they can run a little bit more. Hyman's been good, but even a good 1-2 punch would definitely benefit this team. They also get their captain back on the defensive line, Carmine Bastone, so he's going to help the depth and QB pressure for sure. So, yeah, I like Northwestern. I think 11's too many points.
All right, let's move on to the second game. UNLV, Utah State. I mean, I don't really see. Does anyone have any angles for Utah State?
I don't.
Because I would imagine we're all about to spew the same bullshit out here. UNLV by 50 points, right? And I don't see. Look, Utah State, if you look at their offensive numbers, it looks like they might have a formidable offense. I kind of call bullshit on that. I mean, we know Spencer Petras has his limitations as a passer. I'm on board with saying, hey, we can't judge this guy based on his years at Iowa. First of all, he's more experienced now. He could have improved. Second of all, he was playing in the Big Ten West. Like 6 of the top 25 defenses in the country were in the Big Ten West that year. So he was playing about as grueling as a schedule as you can get as a quarterback, and his OC was Brian Ferentz, which we all know how that was working out for Iowa quarterbacks. So, if you're trying to say let's give Spencer Petras another chance, okay, I'm not mad at that. Here's the thing: as far as production we've seen this year, sure, the Utah State offense has looked better in the games Petras played. Remember, he got hurt; he missed a couple games, and sure, it has looked better in the games he played. It was against Robert Morris, Temple, and Boise State. And you might be thinking, well, Kyle, Boise State's pretty good. When Utah State started putting points up, they were down like 30 points. So he made some plays and they scored some points in garbage time. They lost like 62-30 or some shit. Like they got killed. And it looks like, but if you look on paper, it looks like Utah State had a decent offensive day. It's not really how that game went down. So even though I think the numbers on this Utah State offense are a little deceiving, I don't think it's a good unit. In my opinion, that those Utah State offensive numbers are the only reason this number here is below 3 touchdowns. Because if you look at the Utah State defensive numbers, it's like you'll have a solid laugh about it. It's one of the. I mean, this is probably the worst defense in the Mountain West, next to Air Force, maybe. I honestly know. I don't know. I would like to put this defense up next to Air Force. I bet you it's comparable. They are getting cooked by everyone. Temple was moving the ball on Utah State. And in case you haven't watched UNLV this year, this is one of the most explosive offenses in college football. In fact, you probably heard went down with the quarterback Sluka. Since they made the switch to the new quarterback, it looks even better. They still have the explosive running attack, and this kid can throw it. Haj Malik Williams, he can throw the ball. He's got really efficient passing numbers and played against Syracuse. It's not like he played against garbage. Played against a couple decent teams, Syracuse and Fresno State, and threw the ball efficiently. So in addition to that really dynamic rushing attack with UNLV with Jaden Thomas, who I think is really good, in addition to that, you now have Haj Malik Williams in there, who seems to be a much more efficient passer than Sluka. So on paper, UNLV should score in every possession on paper. As we've learned from college football, they're most definitely not played on paper. So based on what we've seen, I'd say Utah State wins 52-6. No, I'm just joking. I think UNLV, I think it's warranted to lay the big number here. But what scares me, look at we're polling, over 72% on UNLV. Everyone in the free world is betting UNLV here. Just know that.
I don't know. The number went down to 18.5.
No, I know. Yes, that would indicate some sharp money came in.
Yeah.
Or whatever your theories might be on that. But as far as the general betting public, everyone is betting UNLV. Everyone. So.
Yeah. This is the other game I bet. Getting 19 at home is wild in a conference game. but that's what happens when you're giving up 48.5 points a game.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what they're giving up. I want to take Utah State, I really do, but I can't. I had to take UNLV here. They're a far better team. Even though they lost to Syracuse last game, which I had, I think I got lucky, but they had some penalties, some dumb mistakes. They really should have pulled that off. In all aspects, this team is better than Utah State. The only time I picked Utah State actually was against that Temple team, and yeah, ever since then, they're just absolutely miserable. I know before that Syracuse game, people asked if this defense is legit. No, I said no, it's not. I mean, but it's going to be legit against Utah State. So Utah State is 124th in defensive rating. And you saw, like Kyle said, you saw how UNLV can play with Haj Malik Williams. I think he's a better thrower than
He's
Sluka,
a better,
for sure. And he's definitely better in both. He can run the ball and he can pass the ball.
Hold on. I think
he's a better runner, maybe.
I think Sluka might be a little more athletic. But
so, yeah, I mean, I said let me see it again after last week. He definitely did. He showed me against Syracuse. He has over 80% completions. He has 3 touchdowns. He is still a solid scrambler, and maybe not as good as Sluka, but the good thing is he can throw the ball down the field. So, yeah, I think Utah State gets absolutely smashed here. They're bottom 10 in points allowed and yards allowed. Ricky White, I think, is going to be a problem here for Utah State. He has over 250 yards receiving combined these last 2 games, and Utah State has no secondary that can stop him. I would definitely take over the receiving yards on him, actually. I didn't check what it is, but I'm going to do that afterwards. Spencer Petras is not Kyle McCord. He's getting better, but he's not going to be throwing 355 yards and 3 touchdowns against UNLV. So Utah State's also 1-4 against the spread. UNLV is 4-1. Their only loss was that Syracuse one last week, which they actually should have covered. So yeah, I like UNLV to bounce back and roll here.
Andy?
Yeah, I mean, there's been no bigger supporter of UNLV. I had them in the playoff before last week. I mean, I've been a pretty big supporter of them. I think it is. Somebody in the comments did mention it is a bit of a look ahead spot because they do play Oregon State next week, and that is a relatively big game for them. But like, I don't know how big of a difference that is to playing like a Boise or something. Like, I don't know how big of a deal that is. And Utah State
coming off the loss too.
Yeah, coming off a loss, I don't think there will be a flat spot. It is a weird place to play. Utah State is an odd late night Friday night game. It's a weird spot for them, but like coming off a loss to Syracuse, I really don't think that they're going to mess around in this one. I mean, they, like Scoop just mentioned, they should have covered. They had a spearing call cost them not only the cover, but also...
Isn't that a hockey penalty?
Good call in my opinion.
It was a fine call. I just didn't. I don't understand.
He's making a joke because he had Syracuse, Andy.
Huh?
He's making a joke because he had Syracuse in that game.
I mean, it was crap, but yeah, so that cost them last week, and then in overtime they had like 3 dropped interceptions that they still would have wound up winning the game. Like, it was a fluky weird game. They needed like a punt return to get back in the game too. They were getting beat pretty badly, but they just played their flat game last week. I mean, that game was like a perfect spot for them because it was a flat spot for Syracuse, and Syracuse came in with all the energy. So I don't think that they're going to get caught lacking back-to-back games. So I'll take them. I haven't bet it yet. I think it might keep going down because the way these UNLV lines work, like the day of the game, the line could go down 4 points. Like, you never know. We saw it with college basketball. This team has a really weird line tendencies in these sports. So we'll see. I might bet it right before kickoff, but it would only be UNLV. Utah State is so bad.
And Ricky White is around 97. I would do the over on that receiving yards if you can.
Yeah, Ricky White's cool. Next up. Well, tale as old as time. Here, Kyle Kirms is on YouTube talking about a Utah game without knowing the status of Cam Rising. Let me know if this sounds familiar to you. All right, does someone else want to go first?
I'll go quickly. Look, we haven't seen Cam Rising finish a football game since early 2023. He hasn't played a full football game, so I don't know. I'm gonna be leaning on Arizona State. Like, this guy, I like Cam Rising. I think he's great when he plays. I think they're a national championship contender when he plays. He does not finish football games. The Southern Utah game, he played half of it. They were winning by so much, it was whatever. Then he gets hurt in the Baylor game. It happened last year too. He didn't play at all last year. Like, we haven't seen him play a full football game since 2022. So I can't back a team with a quarterback like that. I do think they showed themselves a little bit against Arizona. They're not quite the defense everybody thought they were. Like, their defense isn't necessarily perfect. So there could be spots where like Scataboom, if he goes off, or Sam Levitt, if they're able to get any semblance of a passing game that'll open up their running game, maybe you could see it from Arizona State. So that's what I'm leaning on. But I hate this game because, I mean, you were right. You said it at the beginning. Big 10 game, Big 12 game. Those should be cool. Both of them kind of suck. It's just kind of mid teams playing each other here. And with Cam Rising status, you never know. So I'll lean Arizona State, but probably won't bet it.
Scoop.
Yeah, I told Kyle I think Cam Rising is a mythical creature. Like he's like Santa Claus or Easter Bunny. I don't think he exists anymore. He never plays. This defense can only do so much with Wilson back. With Wilson back there as starting quarterback for Utah. The offense takes a considerable step back. I talk shit about Cam Rising, but he's an awesome quarterback. So, yeah, but Wilson's not bad. He's just not rising. In fact, his stock might be falling. You see what I did there? So yeah, I'm pretty clever. Do you get it? It's great. No, but really, he does throw a lot of picks. Wilson, 7 on the year already. I would lean on Arizona State if Cam Rising's back, which they said he might be back.
He said he's playing, but he could show up for one play and then walk out.
Yeah, so I wouldn't bet this game. If Cam Rising plays the whole game, yeah, I would take Utah -5.5. That's really what it comes down to it for me. The offense shifts dramatically with Wilson under center. So, in a lot of metrics like offensive rating, passing efficiency, rushing efficiency, it's actually 40 places lower as Wilson as a quarterback than Cam Rising. But he makes some dumb mistakes, has a great arm. He's a freshman, still a lot of growing pains. And Arizona State has burned me this year. Their last 4 games were all decided by one score. I know Utah's defense is the rock of this unit. So, Sam Levitt, Scatterbo, they've been great. They're actually 19th in offensive success rate, but I feel like Sam Levitt's got to come down to earth. He's not that good of a quarterback. I feel like if I bet him, then he's just not going to have a good game once. And Utah's going to have the biggest test offensively for Arizona State, but I think they'll hold their own and keep this game close at home. So I'm going to take Arizona State.
People in the comments are asking. The status is he's going.
The status is he playing, but he'll probably get hurt. So.
Trust that if you will.
Give me Utah. All right. So eventually Sam Levitt is going to show us who he is, right? And we haven't really seen him put in that position much. Now, I know that Arizona State has played some games. I mean, they went on the road to Lubbock. Give them credit for that. That Texas Tech defense has been very injured and struggling this year. They played Kansas, respectable team, not really a respectable defense per se. What defenses has Sam Levitt in this Arizona State offense seen that you guys are comfortable taking him to move the ball on Utah? This is an entirely different class defensively for Arizona State here. They haven't seen a defense that even resembles Utah. I mean, Utah, it belongs in the conversations amongst the top 10 defenses in the country. So I think Sam Levitt's going to be in a situation here. We've seen way less strong defenses than Utah shut this Scatterbo run game down. We've seen Kansas actually didn't let Scatterbo do anything on them. What happened was Sam Levitt was able to make plays on the secondary because Kansas pass defense is terrible. Texas Tech, I believe their secondary is pretty banged up. That's not Utah. I don't think Arizona State's going to be able to move the football in this game. But now on the other side, when it comes to Cam Rising, look, I think he's going to play. From what I'm reading, it's not like, hey, he's a game time decision. It seems like he's playing. So if he plays, the night and day difference we've seen from the Utah offense the last 2 years with Cam Rising and without Cam Rising, I don't know if I've ever seen such a stark difference from one football player to a team before. It was like, you know what it was like? It was like Justin Herbert and then Easton Stick. It was like, oh my God, this is one of the worst teams in the league without this guy. That's the Utah offense. Do you know, I believe the numbers are, and Andy, if I'm wrong, I think Utah's offense without Cam Rising is averaging 21.2 points per game or something. In the entire Cam Rising career with Utah, he's failed to reach 20 points once. One time. They're averaging 21 point something without him. So we're talking like 10-point difference when Cam Rising plays versus when Cam Rising doesn't play. Arizona State's defense looks very strong against the run, and if Cam Rising doesn't play, yeah, Utah's going to be in trouble. They need to run the football. But if Cam Rising plays, he should have an all-you-can-eat buffet on this Arizona State secondary that I don't think is very good. So, yeah, if Cam Rising plays, I honestly think this could be a blowout win. But who knows? There's also the factor of, well, who knows what kind of condition Cam Rising is even in.
Well, I was just about to say that. Like, all right, there's people in the comments saying it too. I understand he's playing. What about Cam Rising has made you believe he's going to stay healthy for the whole game?
No,
we haven't seen the guy play 1, 2, 3, 4, all 4 quarters since 2022. So we don't know. We don't know if he's going to be able to do it.
So you don't believe in Cam?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't believe in the guy's health. He gets hurt every single game. He tries to play the whole game. That's the truth. Sorry. I hope he stays healthy. He's fun to watch. Sorry. Like I feel like we reiterated that like 4 or 5 times during the loop of this. We put in a video last night.
So yeah, Utah up. All right, now Prop Beaver has 2 NFL props for you guys if you'd like to stay and listen to Prop Beaver, who's actually hitting bets recently. Was that your 3rd straight underdog?
Yes, that was my 3rd straight underdog.
Third straight underdog for Prop Beaver cashed in the Thursday night game. So we have a red-hot Prop Beaver coming on to dish out a couple of props. He's got to set the screen up real quick.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Looks like the poll was slightly leaning Utah there. 46%, 42% in favor of Utah. All right.
And we have 2 wonderful games here. I mean, I know everybody is going into this Sunday. They see the Cowboys Lions on the board, but they really want to bet Patriots, Texans, and Colts, Titans. So
of all the games that he could have picked, Patriots, Texans, Colts.
Obviously, I had to pull these one up for you guys. So 1 second. I'm just trying to find my goddamn name.
That guy in the comments, Jake Veneman, he's been in the comments talking shit to people betting the Padres. I clicked on his name and looked at the last time he commented. It was talking shit to someone like 2 weeks ago, calling them a clown, saying the Yankees are definitely getting eliminated in the first round. So the last time this guy chirped, he got his foot stuck in his mouth.
Of course. Well, one thing I was not right about last night, going into the season, my Geno Smith MVP take is not looking great. No.
Dude, that interception.
Well, no, the 3rd interception was actually DK Metcalf's fault.
That was not DK.
Yes,
the 3rd interception. No, the third one. Okay. That's not the one I'm talking about.
2, Jesus Christ, dude. Geno Smith was like overthrowing the ball like a madman last night. He was looking terrible. But yeah, Kenneth Walker, thank you for cashing that late in that ball game. So yeah, in this one, we're going to be talking about Mr. Drake May over 20. I think it's 25.5 rushing yards. You can still get it on FanDuel.
Take Drake May over rushing?
Yeah, most books you could still get it at 26.5. This is actually my bet of the week. I put 1.5 units on it. I was considering laddering it, but that felt a bit irresponsible. It's the dude's first NFL start. So yeah, this is my favorite play of the week. Of course, my cursor disappears, but we are fine. Texans have been getting ran all over by dual threat QBs thus far. It has been absurd. We've got Anthony Richardson with 6 carries for 56 yards, Caleb Williams with 5 carries for 44 yards, and then Josh Allen with 4 carries for 54 yards. So these guys aren't even getting that much volume, and they are just going off in terms of efficiency. The trio averaged 5 carries for 51.3 yards per game. That is 10.3 yards per carry. And this is a guy in Drake May who averaged 37.4 yards per game on 9.3 attempts per game his senior year on the ground at UNC, respectively. And that includes sack yards. So this dude has an insane scramble rate. I mean, he had a higher scramble rate. I just want to go ahead and pull up the screenshot real quick. Yes, he has a higher scramble rate in college than Lamar Jackson, Kyler Murray, Anthony Richardson, Josh Allen. This is a dude who likes to use his legs, and in his lone regular season NFL drive, he had 2 attempts, 12 yards, and just 12 dropbacks at MetLife. In the 2 preseason games just far, 15 and 17 yards on 4 and 3 attempts, despite just 24 and 32 snaps. I'm expecting about double that amount of snaps, so that would be projected to hit our over in both of those scenarios. So that's looking good right there. And really, this is just a spot here. He has the worst offensive line in all of football, and now he's facing a Houston pass rush that not only has Will Anderson coming off the edge, but Danielle Hunter. This is a nightmare. This dude should be running for his life all day here. So at 25.5 yards, a guy who averaged, I think, above 50 in terms of true rushing yards in college, you simply have to take this here. I love this play.
All right, so I'll share my thoughts on this football game. I would imagine, and I haven't checked on a bunch yet. Usually I do start doing that around now. I would imagine most content creators, most people in the sports betting industry are going to be on Patriots +7 here. I will have to look to confirm that. But this is pretty straightforward. You can't do it. You can't lay 7 with Houston. But let me tell you, as he puts this graphic up under my face, very seriously doubt any of my hard-earned money is going on the Patriots here. I think that they're one of the worst football teams we've seen in maybe our generation of NFL fans, truly. And I'm not even saying that as a joke. That offensive line is not only is it the worst in the league, but it's very injured too. I don't know what they're expecting Drake May to even do here. 24.5 rushing yards. That actually sounds good. He's going to be running for his life. So yeah, I can't do it because the Patriots are that bad. But I don't know how you could lay a full touchdown on the road with an offense that doesn't look good at all. And I mean, it really hasn't looked good at all this whole season. Whatever CJ Stroud had last year, he's still searching for it, and maybe he'll find it at some point. But the way that Texans offense looks right now, there's no run game. CJ Stroud really not making the big plays through the air either. It doesn't look right. So, look, are the Patriots going to score on the Texans? No, probably not. It's probably going to be a nightmare. But you can't lay a full touchdown on the road if you can't trust the offense. Keep in mind, CJ Stroud, most of his big games were at home in Houston last year.
Very true.
Yeah, he wasn't that good on the road last year. In fact, we had several graphics up that we used on the show showing CJ Stroud's home away splits. They were significant last year. He was a different quarterback on the road. Now, I mean, it's home away splits from one football season, his rookie year. Is that something that should stick with him his whole career? Of course not. That might be something of the past now. But certainly doesn't help the cause here when I'm deciding what side I want to be on. And also, you got to keep into, look, I don't need to go through reasons of why Houston should win this football game. You all know. You have the Red Zone channel. You know. You know why Houston should win this game against New England. But there's also the aspect of Drake May getting his first start. Houston doesn't know what the hell plays they're about to see. They might come out with something that all of a sudden, first quarter, different looking set, Houston gets caught off guard on a big play, and it's 7-0 Patriots. And if you bet Houston -7, down 7-0 Patriots based on just a caught off guard play, you are in a hole with an offense that hasn't looked good. So I'm not going to bet this. But as far as what the decision here is, it would only be Patriots +7 because I can't lay a full touchdown on the road with Houston.
Mm-hmm. Now, two things. Crip to my Lou. What a name. So you said I can't take that bet because I'm worried about him getting sacked and him losing rushing yards.
That's not.
This is NFL. Don't have to worry about that. So
that's a college thing.
He could get sacked all he wants. If anything,
you can eat sacks.
It is better if he gets sacked. He's going to be more prone to scrambling then. And
is there a correlation with that?
Yes, there is. The more pressured you are, the more prone you are to scrambling. And if you're getting sacked, then you're going to then be more, I guess, when you're getting pressured, you're going to want to scramble because you don't want to get hit. So, yes. And then on the other thing I saw, a lot of people were saying tease this game. I mean, do you trust the Texans to just go in and win this game straight up? A lot of I think it's +5.5 underdogs this season have been winning straight up. Do you think the Patriots could play potential spoiler here at all, or this team's flat out too pissed?
I mean, I feel like there's no one that can give an educated answer on that other than people in the Patriots facility that have seen what this offense looks like with Drake May, because anyone else that isn't in there, that hasn't gotten to look at it, we're just throwing darts in the dark here. We have no idea what it's even going to look like. I mean, logic tells me the way that offensive line has looked, no, they can't play spoiler. Mm-hmm. But I mean, who knows? Who knows what they're able to conjure here?
Yeah.
And there's something to that. There's something to not having game film. You see it all the time where just a new set, like what backup quarterbacks have a high hit rate against the spread, shit like that, mm-hmm. because it's the element. Dude, a lot of football is preparation. A lot of play calling is the preparation you do during the week. and not having game film on what kind of offense the Patriots are going to be running here. Maybe you know what that bet Toast like. He likes Patriots first half. He's been betting that Raiders first half.
But that was with Brissett. That was a Brissett special.
Right, that was a Brissett trend. Yeah,
Brissett's the most.
But I honestly don't hate that. Like,
quarterback.
what is the Patriots first half line? Let's glance at that, and then we'll move on to the next game.
I would assume here you can get an even 4.
Patriots first half is plus 3.5. I'm seeing. What about first quarter? Let's face it, Patriots first quarter money line. Drake May scores on the first drive, plus 158. Maybe Patriots early. How about that? All right, let's go to the next one.
Next game. All right, and then
let's see what you got on this shit.
And this one, I'm going to my boy, Calvin Ridley. If you got this man in fantasy, you're probably cursing his name, saying, for the love of Christ, I mean, can you do something, poking him with the stick? From a usage standpoint, the very highly paid Calvin Ridley has been a complete and utter non-factor for the Tennessee Titans offense thus far. 4 years, $92 million in the offseason, just 9 catches through 4 games, and get this, 2 catches for 14 yards in his last 2 games. But he was lining up across from guys like Jalen Ramsey and Jair Alexander. Now he's off the bye, and his coach just 2 days ago said these exact words: I got to do a better job of finding ways to get Calvin the ball. I need to use his speed and explosiveness more. Just get it in his hands every which way we can. Need to find a way to get him going. Now, it's one thing if he's just the head coach and not the play caller. This dude literally calls the plays. And now, I know the major comment with this bet is that Will Levis sucks shit through a straw, but Will Levis also has a cannon and really doesn't need much opportunity to hit this line. His receptions line is at 3.5. He's actually under that in 3 or 4 games thus far. That's how bad he's been. But his 3+ receptions is priced at minus 350 on ESPN. With 3+ receptions, the guy's hit 50+ yards in 14 to 20 games since 2021, averaging 67 yards per game. Also, the major pro with this bet is that he's facing the Colts, and my God, this pass defense has been pissed thus far. We've seen Kirk with 88, BTJ with 122. I mean, in fact, I'll just cut it short. We've seen a perimeter outside receiver with 100+ in every game that Malik Willis wasn't quarterback. And I just think that this is an opportunity for him to smash this one. We saw him with triple digits against Indy last season. I think this is the bounce back game for Calvin Ridley.
Bounce back game for Calvin Ridley.
Yeah.
All right, so as far as this one, I'm kind of just bouncing ideas back and forth. I'm going to be reading the comments to see what people think. You know what it reminds me? Okay, so as far as a side, you know what it reminds me a lot of? The Cowboys-Steelers game that we just saw with this line where we're letting the Colts injuries drive the market to a point where we need to take a step back and be like, what the fuck? Like, we're going to lay 3. We're going to lay 3. And look, I took a loss with the Steelers. I grabbed it at around a pick'em early on when the injuries first got dropped, and it got up to 2.5, like close to 3 around kickoff. I didn't really feel as great about it because I thought the market got a little out of control. Now, obviously, I had closing line value. I should have felt fine, but I just wasn't that comfortable with it, even though there's no logical reason for that. I really wasn't. Now, Colts-Titans, tell me we're not looking at the same sort of thing here. We're going to lay with Tennessee, 2.5. I will not be laying 2.5 with Tennessee. Can tell you with 1,000% certainty. Now, what I will do is circle between these 2 bets, and this is where I want the feedback. I know you guys are probably going to hate the Colts, so what about the over at 42.5? Hear me out. So we all agree that the Colts defense is a pile of shit, right? I mean, I don't think anyone's going to disagree with that. I mean, not only are they injured, Abukum's still out, DeForest Buckner's still out, Kenny Moore didn't practice today. No, that was yesterday. I'm sorry. I don't want to misspeak. Kenny Moore didn't practice yesterday. I don't think the report's out for today. But Kenny Moore's not practicing. That Colts defense is bad and injured. Okay. Tennessee's going to score some points. They scored some points on Miami. They put up 31, even though 7 of those were a little weird. But they put up some points on Miami. I think we can count on the Titans getting to 20 here. On the Colts side, what do we think of when we think of Anthony Richardson, right? I mean, he's kind of getting branded as a bad quarterback now in the market. I mean, the love of Anthony Richardson is fading. The line literally moved when it was announced the other way against the Colts when it was announced he was going to play. So the market likes Joe Flacco better than Anthony Richardson as far as right now. But what can we count on from Anthony Richardson? some big plays and some big mistakes. Whether that results in points for the Colts or points for the Titans, we'll see. But, I mean, Anthony Richardson is the type of guy that can give you 2 70-yard touchdowns and 2 pick sixes. An over's dream. So I just think a big play guy like Anthony Richardson, it's either going to be 3 and outs, turnovers, or big plays. And I feel like all of that helps the over. What you don't want when you have an over is a team that's going to run the ball, chew the clock, get to the 50 and punt. And that's just does not the type of quarterback that Anthony Richardson strikes me as. It's an all or nothing type thing. He's going down the field on the big play, or he's going 3 and out, giving it right back so they can score, or he'll throw a pick 6. So I just think if Anthony Richardson's playing, I don't know if I can get there with the Colts, but I think we can count on some points. So I think the over is where I should go here. I want to read some comments, see what...
I see that RPG Quasar Gargoyles, another interesting name. Rudolph is a screen-throwing short drop-off QB. It's actually going to be Will Levis throwing. So he's going to be going. He's going to be forcing himself out there with the shoulder injury. So as a Ridley better... One could say that hurts the prop. Honestly, I kind of like it. I mean, he's got the bigger arm there, so it's better for the more explosive plays. From a stability out point, maybe one would prefer Rudolph because we'd get shorter looks, but a higher volume of looks. I guess more accurate looks too, but I'll take the bigger plays with Levis there. And I guess for Kyle's over, you would rather Levis too, right? Because you'll take the higher increase of turnover-worthy plays and big-time throws.
Of course. Yeah, that's another thing is I think Will Levis could turn the ball over and give Colts some free ones as well. And I also think in terms of the market, kind of the public perception of this game, like, these two teams suck under. This is kind of like what the brain connection does, right? These two teams suck under. The worst unit in this game is the Colts defense probably, right? So... Yeah. That would help towards an over. As far as the comments, Sheed is on Titans money line. Oh, McIver, what's up, man? McIver's in the comments. He's on Colts money line.
Cole is pretty split on this one.
Yeah, it looks like I honestly thought more people would be coming in on the Titans. Mm-hmm. I saw someone up there said he got Titans at +1.5. Obviously, that's a snipe.
Yeah.
So I lost it. I saw it before.
And then one thing I just want to explain here, in terms of the prop, because I don't usually do this. I've kind of been starting to incorporate this lately. So I didn't take the regular line at 43.5. It's at 43.5 pretty much across the board, but the differential in the hit rate from 43.5 to 50 plus is nothing, actually. It's actually nothing. Since 2021, there's no difference in the hit rate from 43.5 to 50 plus, and the price difference is from -110 to +120 at worst. So that's what I'm actually at best. So that's what I'm doing here. So I'm just taking that 30 cent better price at the +120 for 50 plus. You can play it safe at 43.5 if you'd like, but I'm just gonna take it at 50 plus. Just explain what I'm doing there.
Tinker is in the comments saying he's taking the Colts. Also, we got some Colts support here. Someone's saying that they heard on Sirius Radio that Will Levis isn't playing. He's still listed as...
I saw... One second. I mean, I could pull up what I saw.
Let's see if
I got a Twitter notification. I believe it was from Underdog that said he was playing.
Let me just search. Will Levis will start Sunday. Tweeted 3 hours ago by Jim Wyatt, who is a writer on TennesseeTitans.com. So it's going to be Levis.
Yeah,
unless they're just telling lies on TennesseeTitans.com. And you know what? That organization, I wouldn't put it past them.
I mean, yeah, not my favorite organization.
So, yeah, Will Levis is going to be the guy.
All right, so I guess that's it till tomorrow.
Yeah, everyone, tomorrow, 10 a.m. is the college football live show. I think we have 27 games lined up, so it'll be a big one. Need a big college football Saturday, man. I've had back-to-back bad ones.
One last thing. Buckhead saying no Pittman or Downs.
Yeah.
No. We got good news on the front for both of them. Pittman.
Pittman,
No, Pittman, yes.
What?
Pittman got magical good news today. Pittman was supposed to be added to was an IR candidate, and all of a sudden was back at practice today.
Wow, he did get upgraded from doubtful to questionable. Downs is questionable. Jonathan Taylor's the one that's out.
Yeah. So, I mean, Downs and Pittman were back at practice today.
I didn't even see that. Mm-hmm. All right, everyone, have a good one. See you in the morning, 10 a.m. to talk some college.